All right, guys. So let's take a deep dive and run it back to Wednesday night. The Hawks had their season opener. They're on the road to open the season at the Hornets. Only the second time in 23 years have they opened the season in the against the Hornets, rather. And unfortunately, same result. 23 years ago, take it out. Last night or Wednesday night, 116 to 110, Hawks taking L again. Maria, did it seem like the same old Hawks to you? And if so, how?
I think in some regards, yes, but in some regards, no, which is kind of a ridiculous answer. But seriously, I did see improvements on the defensive side of the ball for sure, especially in the first half. They had 9 steals. They had 10 total over the course of the game. So you saw them being a little bit more aggressive defensively, which you're going to get out of a Quin Snyder team. The issue, obviously, was beyond the arc and the fact that they couldn't let shots fall and the chemistry between Trae Young and Dejounte Murray. When those guys are going a combined 7 for 33 from the floor, and between the two of them, they only hit 1 3-pointer. That's not going to win you a lot of basketball games. It's just not. So they have to figure out how one of them needs to have a good night or the other, or both combined would be the ideal situation, right? That's why you have them both back there and why it's supposedly one of the best backcourts in the league. But when they're both struggling, it's just going to be really, really hard. And we saw a lot of sloppy basketball on both ends of the floor, especially right out the gate. And I think that comes with just the beginning of the year for a lot of teams, and especially a team like this trying to figure some stuff out with Quinn. So I'm not totally concerned considering it's 1 of 82. However, if you're going to be an offensive team, where was it? I was just confused by that. But the good news is, and the bright shining spot was, of course, Jalen Johnson having a career night. Trae Young afterwards saying he expects him to have many more career nights. I think we all do, right? So it was good to see Jalen take that next step forward. A kid that doesn't have a lot of experience yet so far. He's going to play a lot more, I think, under Quinn Snider. So, yeah, that was kind of a long-winded answer to tell you in some regards, yes, but I was pleasantly surprised. I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. I was surprised at how much defensive attack they had, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that kind of Jarvis maybe, and just kind of going in the direction of what Maria was talking about as it relates to Dejounte, call it what you want. It's kind of fun still to me to call it that, but to call that backcourt of the Hawks that. But I think Maria makes a great point about what may have been the cause of why the Hawks kind of look same old, but maybe not same old. And the reason I say that is this, because you look at what Trae and Dejounte weren't able to do offensively, but I think in part that may be because you saw things that, hey, we're not accustomed to seeing. You saw it a couple times in the preseason, and that was, for example, Trae Young taking charges. It's just not something that we've seen in terms of him being really committed to defense, and I think that's a part of it. So Jarvis, when you are that committed to defense like the team was, I wonder if maybe it wasn't so much the same old from this duo or from this team as it was, hey, LaMelo Ball was healthy. He went off. Terry Rozier is who they call Scary Terry. He went off. So you look at that backcourt for the Hornets, they scored 39 points, but it was quality shooting, right? Because they're scoring that on 11 of 21 from the field, and they're also hitting a little bit better, 6 of 18 from 3. But most importantly, maybe, Jarvis, it was more of the same because of what those guys were able to do as well.
Yeah, I think we look at how the game started, right? Like you start to see some of the new things. You start to see active hands. You start to see them forcing turnovers and like what I think Sadiq Bey ended up with like 5 steals. And those are some of the things that you just kind of say, okay, this is different, and you see the guys taking the charges like Maria mentioned. Those are some of the things that are just different, right? Like, so I can't sit up here and say that, oh man, same old Hawks. I'm just like, if people who are saying that, they didn't watch the game because, like, don't get me wrong. I did feel like at some points during those games, I was just like, man,
cringeworthy.
But for me, it was a sight for sore eyes because to see those guys out there competing on defense and actually, taking pride in it. And then when Jalen Johnson comes off the bench and they just go on a run and just like, oh my God, like who is this dude? Like I'm talking about, they just giving the ball and getting out the way. And I was like, we're doing this for Jalen Johnson. I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, this team is different. And I think that, this is the guy that I call. I say, hey, this is Jalen Johnson's going to be the guy that can make this team look different, that can make this team to continue to elevate. If he can get to the point where he's coming off the bench, I'm not saying I'm expecting him to have a career high off the bench every night, like Trae Young mentioned, but if he can give you 15, 16 off the bench, that is quality contribution coming off your bench that is going to get you to that point where you might be saying, hey, this is the bench mob 2.0.
I know that'd be great. And when I think about Jalen Johnson from like the beginning, I remember when he came in as a rookie, I asked if I could have a one-on-one with him. And I can remember him just being so timid, very nice guy, but just so timid. And I was like, wow, I sure hope there's some aggression that's there that maybe I'm not seeing that can come out on the court. And then I had an opportunity to cover the G League as their TV sideline reporter for the Skyhawks, and to see where Jalen Johnson was when I started that season with them versus where he was by the end of that season. Of course, a season where he also started called up more, right? That's when I said, yeah, I think there's something special about him. I think he's starting to feel where they want him to be, and they're starting to figure out where they want him to be. I think the other thing is this: when you give him the opportunity and you give him liberty to be who he wants to be, and then you get him with a guy like a Kyle Korver and you say, hey, help this guy get an outside shot. And he says, okay, I'm eager to learn. I'm ready to do that. Couple that with telling him to go ahead and get his beast on the inside on and, show all that grime and that grit that you actually have. I think that's what we're starting to see. A guy that's going to have a breakout season because he's being allowed and being encouraged to just be Jalen Johnson. And that's why, like you all said, they just kind of stood back and said, let Jalen go, because once they let him rip, they absolutely let him rip. Now, on the flip side, and I kind of call it I'll say not triumvirate, because I think it was more than 3 players, to be honest with you. But I think it was kind of a situation where it was a committee. It was kind of small forward / power forward by committee. And the reason I bring this up, Maria, is because we cannot get around the conversation of this was our first time looking at, we'll say, a new look Hawks, meaning Sans John Collins. And so it's very interesting, because if you were paying attention to the trends on social media last night, it was like, yeah, we miss John Collins. We can tell that he's not there. We miss his presence. And I was thinking, so maybe these people don't kind of see Saddiq Bey and what he's able to do. And I know Onyeka was in foul trouble last night, but there were still some shades of showing you why that guy is able to keep the likes of Giannis Antetokounmpo in check. And then, like you guys said, Jalen Johnson. So just had to ask, Maria, as far as the elephant is in the room, yes, it was small forward, power forward by committee. But from what you saw from that committee, did you feel like they still did some good work? Or did you feel like on some level, yeah, kind of missing JC. We're going to miss him this season?
I think it's just going to be one of those things where you're getting used to not seeing him out there. That's all that I think it is. I think they are going to take a step in the right direction. And I think yesterday was total proof of that. And like you mentioned, if you're not watching the game, it's evident when you say, I don't know what was going on there when Saddiq Bey is doing great things. He looked like he took a step forward, in my opinion, last night. Yes. And I think that if you can rely on a couple different guys, that's good, but you need someone obviously to step up in the absence of John Collins. However, I don't think he was a popular player. And so I think that people who don't watch the games think, okay, John Collins, he's the guy, the end. I think that they're going to be just fine without him. He dropped off in production massively in his last couple years with the Hawks. Everyone knows that, which is part of the reason why he was able to depart and you didn't get much for him. But I really do think that they're going to be fine without him. Onyeka, when he is not in foul trouble, will help you big time there. So between him, Saddiq, and of course, Jalen, I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, we don't want another 7.5 rebound, 5 personal foul night from 00, but you know that the potential is there. And I think, to your point, Maria and JD, when a team says, hey, we're going to pick up the 4th-year options, we're going to pick up Jalen Johnson's option, we're going to pick up Onyeka Okongwu's option, they're showing you that they see something in this team, in these players, that they feel can be a part of the core of what they're trying to build.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cool to see, right? Because it gives you hope. Because, we've, as a Hawks fan, and being in this city for so long, growing up here, it's just like, I want to see some growth. Like, that's what we want to see from this team, because they didn't go out and go trade for James Harden, or God forbid they ever do that. But, they didn't go out, they didn't make the big splash move. Hey, they re-signed Dejounte Murray, and people were surprised. I know I was included in that party as well, because Like he could have possibly got some more money on the open market. So it's just for them to re-sign him, and then you trade away John Collins, like you mentioned. Like you said, people who are saying that they're missing him, y'all not watching the games. I need y'all to start watching the games, because there is a plan in place. They have a recession plan for sure, because like you said, John, he did what he did when he was here with the Hawks. Like he did. Nobody expected for him to have that type of production when he came in to the Atlanta Hawks, because he got better every year after year after year. But like you said, like Maria's mentioned, he started to tail off in those last couple of years. That's why you weren't able to get that much from him. So I feel like, it's just a matter of, like you said, getting used to him not being there. But please believe, Quinn Snyder has a plan. And we saw that play out last night with Saddiq Bey and Jalen Johnson kind of rotating that bad boy out. And I'm cool with it.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that I think people are forgetting, and I think it's just because Quinn is so new and this is the first full season, is he's so much a player's coach. So when you're talking about investing in these guys, these younger guys that are signing these deals, and then also bringing Dejounte back, obviously, Quinn is a guy that can change someone's game. And I truly do believe that. And you're starting to see snippets of that. If you're at practice, if you're watching the videos at practice, he is very much a hands-on coach, and he talks to them in ways that has not happened around here in quite a long time. He has a different way of connecting with players, and I think that's overlooked sometimes. And not to mention Kyle Korver being in your back pocket. I mean, oh my gosh, who else could you want? He's such a smart and bright individual, and he obviously played in the NBA for a while, so he's somebody that you can rely on, that the guys trust, they listen to. So I think that you're really going to start to see that turn into something great, i.e. in the absence of a John Collins and trying to grow these other players. It's important that you have a coach finally that the guys really do respect and they listen to. I think that's really important to mention.
Yeah, and we always thought that Rudy Gobert was a solid player, that he was good, but his greatness is because of the guy who really got him from good to great and was able to get things out of him that no other coach was able to do that before. And if we're being honest about it, has been able to do since then. Now, coming up next, we're going to go around the metro. But first, Jarvis is going to tell you guys about how FanDuel can help you make a few extra bucks, especially heading into the holidays, and how you can get your fix of Jarvis if you so choose to get more Jarvis with subtext.
Listen up, people. Jarvis Davis here. Yeah, you're going to get that fixed in 1 second. But let me tell you about FanDuel. This is the episode of the ATL Sports Party is brought to you by FanDuel. It is the #1 sports book in America, guys. I'm telling you, you need to go to FanDuel right now. For new customers, just new customers, if you've been winning some money already, cool, keep doing your thing. But the people who haven't gone there yet, I need you to go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. Why I need to go to FanDuel.com/lockedon? You need to go to FanDuel.com/lockedon because all you got to do is drop $5. $5, and you're gonna get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. What are bonus bets, Jarvis? You can use those on spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. I'm telling you guys, you don't have to worry about anybody getting your information when it comes to FanDuel because the app is safe, secure, it's super easy to use, and it's the #1 sports book in America. So what's the hold up? Swole up? All right, so visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon, LOCKDEDON, and go to the official sportsbook betting partner of the NFL. Now, guys, let me talk to you. I need y'all to listen up right now. Like my voice again changing up, so that means you need to pay attention. Come in. If you want to become a Locked On Sports Atlanta insider, all you got to do, join subtext.com/LockedOnSportsAtlanta. Join subtext.com/LockedOnSportsAtlanta. What is that, Jarvis? I'm telling you, all you got to do is just listen to me. Listen to me. I'm telling you where to go and where to go get some good information. You're going to be able to get some good information, inside information, all of that breaking news, all my thoughts during the game. I'm telling you, you can text with me during the game while you're watching the game. And also, I got a little all-22 review too, if y'all want to check that out as well. So all of that will be available on the subtext. Join subtext.com/LockedOnSportsAtlanta and become a Locked On Sports Atlanta insider today.